Beis Yisroel, the Ger Rebbe would say over, that back in the Heim, at home in Europe, he would say, Hasidim would travel to the Rebbe. And when they got to the Rebbe, they would ask for a bracha, and they would very often be helped. They would achieve the salvation they came for. And he said that everyone understands that it wasn't just the Rebbe's bracha, although it was that as well. It was breaking yourself to travel, because back in Europe, before the war, to travel to Rebbe meant weeks, sometimes months of traveling. There were thieves, there were bandits. The roads were very difficult. There were no highways, there were no cars. The weather was lousy. You had to stop at it in here. You slept at the side of the road over there. Maybe you stayed over and slept on a bench in the back of the shul. The third town took a lot of work. So he says, by the time somebody came to the Rebbe, they had already broken themselves. They had already turned themselves into a vessel, into a kli that was worthy of receiving brachas. There was no more haughtiness. There was no more comfort. They came to the Rebbe ready for the bracha. He says, today, Chassidim get on an airplane and they come to him and they're in Eretz Yisrael. You would tell American Chassidim, you're here 12 or 15 or 20 hours later, you sat comfortably, you had food. What are you coming with to the Rebbe that makes you worthy of bracha? So you know what the Beis Yisrael said? He said, you're still coming as broken kalim, as broken vessels. You know why? Because in that time on your trip, there were a lot of sights that were enticing you. There were a lot of things you may have wanted to look at. There were a lot of opportunities for you to fall. And you stood tall. You didn't look. You didn't give yourself. You didn't give in to temptation. He says, you're coming here. You're just like those Hasidim of old, because you too have broken yourself to be here. Because all along that way, when you stood tall, when you stood above the sign, you made yourself ready for bracha. You made yourself ready for blessing. You turned yourself into a vessel that has earned blessing by breaking yourself that way. That's how you come to the Rebbe. It's true now, every single time we go to shul, even if you're not a chassid, and even if you're not going to Rebbe, you go anywhere. Tzimaya Solberg Shlita always teaches people. He says that when a person has a sight that they want to see, their body's pulling them a certain way, and they don't look, that's a time to daven, that's a time to pray. What he's saying is really what the Beis Yisrael taught. When you break yourself, you have given the Rebbeinu Shalom a great gift, a mincha. We know that tzaddikim, before they daven, give tzedakah. Why? Because you have to give it yourself. Other people fast. On fast days are days of tefillah, because it's more auspicious to daven when a person's fasting. We're always fasting and giving tzedakah every time we go to shul, and choose not to look, and choose to rise above temptation and rip apart a little more of ourselves. That's a fast day, that's tzedakah, that's breaking ourselves, that's turning ourselves into vessels whose tefillahs will be answered.